variety pack. Food and friends with Canada's best. From east to west, there and back. Eat North Variety Pack. 'Cause variety's the spice of life.
Might be me because I'm in the office.
Welcome to another episode of Eat North Variety Pack. I'm here with my pals, Mairlyn Smith, Carmen, Cheng. How are you two doing today?
Good. Sun is shining. Great. You, Mairlyn?
So we're raining here in Toronto, but it was 33 yesterday. So
Oh, wow.
I was running around. I got a kiddie pool. Woo! So my husband and I sat in the kiddie pool, and then we filled watering cans up, and we were running around watering. Now it's raining, so I think I cursed us.
Well, it's been pretty warm here. I'm not going to lie. I've been spending some time outside these past few days, and it definitely feels like spring. I feel like summer is on the way. There's a lot of local produce being grown now. Obviously, we talked about fiddleheads last week, and it's almost asparagus season now too. So anyway, it's a lot to look forward to, and I'm excited that it's sunny out for sure.
So with
Have you guys had asparagus sightings yet? Because our asparagus sightings, I haven't seen any in the story yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Are you guys seeing asparagus in your stores?
Yeah, actually, we're gonna have
I can't tip anybody.
farmers market on today, but I was keeping track of the asparagus at the farmers market because it's like one of my favorite things. And Edgar's Farm here in Alberta launched their asparagus last Thursday, and I was there like bright and early on Thursday, got my asparagus, and I've had it like every day this week. How about you, Dan?
I haven't had
so
asparagus
jealous.
yet. Yeah, but I am jealous because I have seen your feed, and you were cooking up a storm yesterday with asparagus, and now I really want some too. So I think I will probably pop by the market tomorrow. But what I've been mostly really taken by this week is just seeing how restaurants and bars have reopened in Calgary, and just seeing what their health and safety protocols are like. It's been a long time coming, and we've seen some other cities open up restaurants before them. But these past few days, I've been to 5 restaurants, and just to see how things are going, and it's definitely been a roller coaster, both of emotions and just in the details with different places. Carmen, have you been out at all?
I have not. I'm still kind of supporting afar with a lot of takeout and delivery and cooking at home. I think I'll get there, but right now I have not yet been to the bars, but I was keeping track of your adventures,
Yes.
just trying to see what the differences are. And I'm hearing all sorts of things. I'm hearing from somebody, it might have been you, Dan, who mentioned that there's so many regulations and rules that are put in place to make sure that restaurants and bars are safe for diners.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Interesting to hear how people are pivoting.
Definitely. I do have some images I'm going to show off too. So I went to one of the places I went was Craft Beer Market, which is a beer hall chain based in Calgary. They have locations almost all over Canada now. And I was really impressed with the measures that they've gone to. So first and foremost, you can see in this picture here, they have hand sanitizer on every table, which I think is maybe a bit above and beyond. But I feel like just seeing a bottle of hand sanitizer on a table does give people peace of mind. And they also have a touchless way of paying now. So you can just pay on your phone without even having a debit terminal come over or even the server bring the bill. So I actually really like that touch as well. And the other thing I'm going to show National next. So National 17, most businesses now will have large signs right when you walk in talking about how they want people to respect distance and also the measures they're taking to keep everyone safe. But the one thing that also impressed me at Craft Beer Market was that they actually mark each table with a bottle saying so fresh, so clean, and it has been sanitized. So when you walk up to a table that a server or a busser has done a thorough clean before you sit down. So I thought that was really neat.
Yeah, for sure. So with the weather being warmer, I think it's to a patio, but I also bring a lot of friends and family because there's warm. Kind of exploring the patios at home.
Yes.
And grilling or barbecuing. So have either you been cooking like summertime vibes at home?
I have for sure. I love cooking at home, especially when it's warmer out. So one thing I notice, I get really into grilling vegetables, or just even roasting them and serving them in sort of like an al fresco fashion outside. So again, that's why I'm really looking forward to using asparagus, because I think that when you get that fresh local vegetables and all, they just need a little roast, a little grill in there. They have so much flavor, and that's what I look forward to most in the summertime.
For
You,
sure.
Mare?
We were going to do a barbecue today, but it's raining. Scott said he doesn't care. He's going out with an umbrella. And we're having salmon. I like to do sort of parboiled potatoes and then stick them on a grill pan, and like we're going to grill them out there too. I made a little bit of a pesto with some basil that I had left over, and I'm going to serve that on grilled eggplant. And we don't have, like I said, no asparagus yet, but if I did, it would be like the perfect combo. So thanks for ruining my.
I know. So thank you, Carmen. Now that's asparagus is all that we can think about. So, although
yes, things to look forward to. That's all right.
This might be a good time to Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say this might be a good time to segue to our first guest, who could maybe give us some interesting insight on cooking as well. I think we've all been tuning in for this season of Top Chef Canada, and it's been a really exciting one to watch. The show actually wraps up this Monday, and we have one of the top 4 competitors that's still in the running, with a bit of a cliffhanger situation happening with her in the finale. But we're going to play a little clip of her on the show, Stephanie Ogilvie from Halifax, and then we'll just bring her right in for the conversation.
Exciting.
Great.
Behind.
For this elimination challenge, the stakes are a lot higher. It's double elimination. Only 3 of us will be going to the finale, so the stress level is pretty intense. We have 1 hour to prep, which is not a lot of time. We can't make our pasta today. The flour that we've milled ourselves is so fresh, we have to wait until the day of to make the pasta dough. Otherwise, they'll oxidize and go brown. Not good. Making ricotta. So today, it's all about prepping.
Mission impossible, baby. I'm making butter.
All right, so we are here with Stephanie, or Steph. I know you like to be called Steph for short. How are you doing?
I'm really good. How about you?
I'm good. How's life on the coast?
It's really good. Nice and sunny and warm out today, so digging it.
Yeah, that's great. You know what? It's been really fun watching you on the season of Top Chef Canada. And there, like I mentioned, it's a bit of a cliffhanger going into the finale. But I don't think it's been a few years since you've seen women chefs make it to the finale. So it's pretty cool that you and Lucy Morrow are potentially part of that.
Yeah, definitely. A really strong female representation of the chefs that are out there that showed up this season and really gave it their all. So yeah, it's really inspiring.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. Was this your first time applying for the show, or have you had interest in the past?
First time applying. I was kind of interested, but it's not something I think I would have put myself into before. It's very much outside my comfort zone. I'm quite shy. So this is all a whole new world, but it's been a lot of fun.
Great. And I know, Carmen, you're a huge fan of the show, so I'm sure you have a burning question or two for Steph.
I am, and Monday night just left myself and my partner. We both watch it. He actually makes us watch it 2 to 3 times a week, so we can
that's aggressive.
and there's that cliffhanger. Like, I'm kind of sitting on the edge of my seat, can't wait to see what happens. But one of the things that really struck me about your season is the camaraderie that's been built up amongst the cast, and I think you even mentioned it in Instagram Live that you always host. So I'm wondering if you can maybe speak about that, how the cast has gotten along, all the chefs.
Yeah, I think it's something that we feel like it's special, unique to our group of chefs that we're competing this season. Maybe past seasons, they've kind of held on to that as well, but I feel like we've really just bonded and become friends. It's something that we went through together and are really supportive of one another. And with everything that's going on with COVID and not being able to maybe pursue those viewing parties and collaborative dinners right away, it's I think just even built up even more so that that bond between us.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. So not being able to host the viewing parties is a big shift. So what are some ways that yourself and other chefs are still kind of building that momentum, addressing the questions that are coming?
Well, Lucy and I have Spilling the Tea, which is a little program that we're hosting on Instagram Live, and just kind of it'll be on our feeds on Instagram, and it's an opportunity to talk to each of the competitors about what's going on and the episode that they were just in, but it's something that we hope to continue on afterwards as well, and continue to kind of address what's going on in the industry today, as well as still planning collaborative dinners. It'll happen. It's just not happening as soon as we'd like it to. So, yeah.
That's fair. I know with the production of the show, I was at the episode 3 taping where you had the food stall set up, and your chickpea fritters, or like the fries, were phenomenal. One of my favorite things there. It's interesting, the show, because you every second day basically going from challenge to challenge to challenge. How do you not get tired out mentally while this is all happening in such a short period of time?
I think you definitely do. They don't want to show that, right. But I've been working in this industry for a while, so my repertoire of food to draw from and different flavors and preparations is pretty vast. I like to think so, anyway. So it's really just about having that kind of repertoire to get inspired by and think about and seeing if it could apply to the challenge. But it's long days, and you very like physically, emotionally, mentally, pretty exhausted and done, but we've all got goals, so we're still going for it.
One thing that I do find interesting, and I have for almost every season, but when they're calling the chefs into the judges' table, through the editing process, it becomes quite apparent who's the top and who's the bottom. But are you all genuinely surprised when you walk in there if you are the best or not the best?
I 100% was every time. I always went in thinking that I was going to be in the bottom. So you never know if they get what you're going for, right. If it worked out. And there's always room for improvement. And it's happening so fast that it's not 100% what you want to put on the plate, but you're just going with it. So yeah, it's always a shock.
What's it like rewatching the episodes? Are you surprised by some of the interviews? Because I imagine you wouldn't have heard the other interviews or even what the judges are saying necessarily.
Yeah, we don't really get to see that much. You're out there in front of the judges for however long. It seems like an eternity when it's happening. And then you're kind of, whisked away. So you don't hear the critiques for other competitors or even really see what the other chefs are making. That's been really interesting to kind of see, like that was your plate, that challenge. Okay. So, yeah.
Do you think that Top Chef Canada makes you a better chef? Are you a better chef not because of it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it's outside of my comfort zone. So definitely working on those skills. I wouldn't have been on a Skype program like this before. So
you just would have flat out said no, not interested.
Yeah. Yeah. As well as just being, creative and pushing yourself and realizing how much you can get done in 30 minutes. That's a huge surprise.
And so let's talk East Coast cooking. You grew up in New Brunswick. You've called Halifax home for many years. What's the food scene like out there?
The food scene in Halifax and in Nova Scotia in general, I think it was really hitting its stride. We really support local and eat local, and there's such an amazing group of creative people here that it's really nice to be able to showcase that, and as well as the ingredients that are kind of native to our surroundings, and just exploring that and showcasing it and getting to celebrate it a little bit.
In terms of Nova Scotia has a huge wine culture as well, and wine growing region, and some people still don't know that. So how does that factor into your cooking? Are you always using Nova Scotia wines, or trying to explore new exciting pairings from all the varietals, that you have out there?
Yeah, I partner with a few different wineries. There's some amazing wineries in Nova Scotia, and it is a little bit more maybe underrated, but I think definitely more people are starting to take note of it and talk about it. Benjamin Bridge, there's Lightfoot and Wolfville, there's a ton of them. Blomidon, really great products, and being able to cook with them and pair with them as well has been really exciting. I think that in Nova Scotia, with food and with drink, whether it's beer or wine or cider, just that I guess, environment of being able to collaborate with one another has been really important and really a lot of fun.
So we were talking about eating like asparagus and produce that's coming up in season, and I love that you're talking about eating local. So what are some in-season produce that you're excited to cook with from your region?
Yeah, I think we might be a little bit behind in the season compared to the other side of the coast, but right now rhubarb is coming in. So we've had a couple weeks of rhubarb going strong, radishes, asparagus I've heard rumors, but it's not quite.
The asparagus farmers.
Yeah, you know, you gotta make friends with your farmers.
Right, totally.
Keep you in the know. But yeah, so just the radishes is something that we're really playing with. Beet greens, fresh baby little beet greens. I love baby vegetables, baby anything. They kind of know when I'm coming to like save all the baby veg for me. So yeah, it's the best time of year.
It's interesting. I think the farmers market in Halifax is the oldest farmers market in North America.
Yeah.
So is that a place you frequent? Does it have a lot of history and soul? And like, did you get inspired walking through a place like that?
Yeah, the Halifax Brewery Market. It's the oldest in North America. It's incredible. It's gone through some renovations as well, and they're really trying to take a hold of this situation with COVID and still be able to supply people. So a lot of farmers are coming in with CSA boxes available for pickup from the market, and they have a store there throughout the week. I think Tuesday through Saturday, where you're able to actually a few people at a time come in and pick up some goodies. So yeah, every Saturday morning, typically I would be there for the restaurant when it was open, and just picking up our orders that we need for the rest of the weekend and the week. Definitely a huge supporter of the markets here in Halifax. And there's also the Seaport Market as well. So.
Yes, yeah. That's great. Well, I think you're going to make a dish in your kitchen with Mairlyn Smith a little bit later here. So admittedly, she's not as big of a fan of Top Chef as we are. So we thought we'd chat with you first and give her a little coffee break. But yeah, we'll let you get set up in the kitchen and then you can have a nice little chat and make a dish with Mairlyn.
Great. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks for chatting with us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
I don't know about you, but I'm really rooting for her in the finale. I can't wait for Monday night. I'm so excited.
Okay, so I just want to clarify something. Yeah. It's not that I'm not a fan of Top Chef. Monday night is date night.
Well, there you go.
And nothing is messing with date night right now. Even though we see each other 24/7, date night is honored. Okay, so yeah, it's wine and dinner night. Anyway, so yeah. That's
sorry.
The reason.
I was not trying to throw you under the bus or anything.
I sound like, well,
but I know that you need your loving on Monday night, so that's why I should have clarified that more publicly. So. Yeah.
And I know I could tape it, I'm going to tape the final. But anyway, yeah, but I'm really excited about going into Steph's kitchen too, because I'm a West Coast girl and I want to see what's going on in that East Coast kitchen.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. So, all right, let's move right along. I think our next conversation is going to be quite interesting. It'll be between you, Mairlyn, Carmen, and then Leilani Olynik, who does marketing for the Calgary Farmers Market, because I think that's one thing we haven't talked about on the show, and the topic was your idea, Carmen. It's a great idea, was how are farmers markets dealing with everything during the pandemic, and what does shopping at a farmer's market look like post-pandemic? So I think that this will be a really interesting chat with her. I'm just going to bring her on here, and I'm going to leave. So.
Hi, Leilani.
Hi, everybody. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm a little bit tired, but I'm hanging in there.
It's Thursday, so the market's open. We were already having discussion about some of the seasonal produce that's probably creating some buzz coming up.
It is.
What's happening right now in the market?
How is everything? You know what? It's good. People are happy, and of course, they're very excited to see the much beloved asparagus. It arrived last weekend, so that's flying off the shelves. And this is this exciting part of the season where all sorts of new things start to come in. So the BC nugget potatoes arrived. We have Alberta rhubarb as well. Lots of herbs and tomato plants available for everybody to do their gardening. So it was an exciting morning so far. So.
Sure. Well, you and I've had some lovely chats just around the evolution of the Calgary Farmers Market throughout the pandemic and throughout COVID. I'm wondering if maybe you could tell us a bit about how you've had to pivot when the social distancing rules were put in place. And certainly I'm a long time supporter of the farmers market. I've been shopping at the farmers market for 16 years, I want to say, and throughout COVID, but would love to hear from you.
Yeah, so I mean, we obviously have had to make some modifications. We're very lucky in that we didn't have to close at all during any part of the pandemic. We are considered essential service, which is great because that means we get to continue serving the community and people who love the market like you. And of course, anybody that wasn't a food vendor those non-essential services that were required to close, they did. So we definitely saw a dip in traffic, as we should have, as everyone was staying home and staying safe. And as such, we just decided that we needed to kind of look at different options to support the small local businesses that are in the market, but then also get the food that people love into their hands and into their homes and bellies. So we decided to start a curbside program, and that essentially is like a very basic way for people to order groceries and the things that they love online. And then myself and a small team of other individuals would just shop for groceries. Essentially, we're like the little placeholder where we do the shopping for you, and then we drop it contactless delivery into your vehicle. And we just most recently launched a fresh food box. So it's kind of like, it's less like a CSA and more like we've put together the most popular items and maybe some new and unique things from vendors that you might not actually shop from on a regular basis. And it's a flat price, and it's slightly different every week. And people are loving it. So they want it before they even know what's in the box. So that's great to see. We've had some overwhelming response to both of those programs.
Absolutely.
Here in Ontario, we haven't opened our farmers markets. They're actually just starting this week.
Right.
But the St. Lawrence market, I think, is more akin to the Calgary one that you have. It's been open the entire time. So what I'm wondering though, are you going to be having the open farmers markets that are the seasonal ones? Will that start to appear in Calgary? They are going to happen here, and I don't know what the rules are going to be, and I'm curious if you had the same situation there.
Yeah, so we've received word. I mean, we are like St. Lawrence. We're all inside all year round. We don't have the outside markets, but I do know that the Alberta Farmers Market Association has confirmed that we can have outdoor markets. So those seasonal markets that pop up maybe a couple of days a week or whatever, they are permitted. They are allowed to choose whether or not they will include the non-essential as vendors as well, but they do have very, very strict guidelines and recommendations around how the markets should be set up to promote physical distancing and entrances and exits and limiting occupancy and things. So it's, of course, the foremost concern that people are safe when they shop, but at the same time, we want to be able to support those local farmers because it's really big for agricultural security. So yeah, they're going to go ahead this summer.
I'm curious about how you do the money transactions. I mean, like I went to the store the other day with money, and the lady was like, "I don't want to take your money." It was just a little store. So you're doing with cash? Because I've always done, I save all of my coins for the year to go to my farmer's market. So I'm giving them the right amount. But so what is the deal? Like, are they going to take cash, or are you guys going to be doing debit cards? I don't know.
I can't speak to the small outdoor farmers markets because we're all individually owned and operated and set up, and sort of the functions are unique to each one. I know for us, a great number of our vendors stopped taking cash sort of at the height of the pandemic, and some of them are starting to accept it now, but I think it is their preference to be no cash. There are very few that would turn you away if you tried to pay in cash because it's really important for them to receive that support these days.
Yeah. And certainly I felt that when I went to the Calgary Farmers Market, I changed my shopping strategy. I started to go in with a list. I took my credit card, put it in my pocket so that I could pull it out and just do the contactless tap at every vendor.
Sorry, Carmen.
Right. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see anybody.
Oh, that's okay. As long as you can hear me. So yeah, I had been shifting my shopping habits just with the social distancing and making sure that I'm using my credit card and I have it on hand.
Right.
With tap. I think the only time I had to use cash was when there was a vendor that had like a debit machine that just stopped working for an hour or so. But now that we're kind of moving into this reopening phase, I know your team and I know that you guys were like all hands on deck for this curbside pickup. And I could see everybody who was working in the office out with carts, shopping, delivering groceries, cars. Yeah. Are you seeing that curbside pickup traffic and volume like decrease? I guess what I'm wondering is for the reopening, what are some of the ways that you now have to repivot?
Yeah, that's a really good question. We definitely did have to repivot when phase one was launched. We've seen a natural decrease in the curbside, which is one of the reasons why we launched the fresh food box, because we saw that there was still a demand, but some people were starting to come inside. And we saw different customers purchasing the fresh food box, which is nice because it means that we're getting more food into hands of more people. Internally, we did see an increase in traffic. So we've pivoted to make sure that the inside of the market is still remaining a safe space for people. And just today, we launched the food hall seating as well. So we're slow and steady easing into the food hall. We've introduced 15% of our capacity. So the tables are really well spaced out, and we have some tables outside as well. So for those people who do want to stay and have a bite to eat and support our food hall, they can. But people are generally quite respectful in the space. They're mindful of the one-way aisles. They're mindful of physical distancing. And it seems to be going really well. And of course, when it isn't, we're able to step in and just ask them to kindly just shop mindfully and with purpose, and just remember that really we're just trying to keep everybody safe.
For sure. And what I really enjoyed having Calgary Farmers Market as an option throughout COVID is that it does take away that traffic and that high volume from a lot of the grocery stores that they were experiencing. Exactly. And the aisles at Calgary Farmers Market is so wide that I found it much easier to be able to social distance. Even the last weekend, I did see more people in the market. We're definitely, last Saturday, we were quite busy. And, our team, obviously, we watch the floor and we make sure that there are no crowds and lingering and gathering, et cetera, so that the space can be as safe as possible. But we're going to continue to see an increase in traffic and demand for those products because people want their asparagus and they're going to want the BC berries that are arriving soon. And of course, when cherry season hits, we expect to see a spike. But that just means that we're just going to have to be patient if we ask them to line up outside, and just to be super mindful inside as well, right? Because I think we all have a personal responsibility in keeping one another safe and just respecting that there are lots of people who work here and they've showed up every single day during this pandemic to make sure that people can get the food they love. That's really well said.
I love that you're making sure that happens. I think a lot of the stores when like they're checking you as you go in, but then when you go in it's like kind of like you're on your own, right? So I'm really impressed that you are going to that level to make sure that there's no one gathering and so anybody be afraid.
I agree. I think that you've put a lot of effort in, and with that in mind, I know how busy you guys are, so I'm thinking we should probably let you go, and maybe I'll see you this weekend as I go.
I'm sure I'll see you this weekend at the asparagus pile. Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us, Leilani.
Thanks for having me, guys. Bye.
Bye.
That was such an interesting conversation. I'm so happy that we had her on the show. It's just, I feel like when you hear so much about grocery stores and their procedures and whatnot, you don't hear a lot about what the farmers markets are doing. So I think that was great to have her share those thoughts. So and I'm definitely going this weekend for asparagus also.
You guys are killing me. You're killing me.
No,
I'll send you some.
There is asparagus in Ontario. I saw Chef Michael Olson.
No. I know it's there. I just haven't seen it. I haven't had a sighting yet. So I'm going to go on a mission. Thank you.
We're wishing you the best of luck. But how about for now we send you in the kitchen with Stephanie to make... I don't think she's making asparagus, but I'm sure she's making something tasty with you. So, ready? All right.
So I'm a West Coaster in an East Coaster's kitchen, and I'm really excited. So you're going to be making... scallop ceviche. Am I saying it right? Ceviche?
Yeah. I love scallops. It's, true East Coast food, in my opinion. Definitely have a lot of experience cooking them here in Halifax and throughout the East Coast. Scallop ceviche it's super summery and springy and just nice and fresh. So it's a favorite.
And, I think a lot of people are afraid of ceviche because they go, what do you mean I don't cook anything? Like, how is that acid breaking down the protein? So do you want to, as you start up, so you're going to start out with your scallops and you're going to add an acid, right? So just walk us through it, but explain how come this works and that we can eat it.
So I have some really nice, fresh scallops here that I'm just going to thinly slice. It's already such a lean protein and we're slicing it so thin that the acid actually helps to cook it and break it down. So I've got acid in two different forms in this demonstration. So I've got a little bit of lemon juice, You could use lime juice as well, vinegar, just as long as you're balancing it out. So I've sliced up some scallops here. I'm just going to dress that with a little bit of lemon juice and a little bit of, I have avocado oil, but you could use olive oil, any kind of nice finishing oil. Olive oil would work, and I'd stay away from like canola oil, but camelina oil would be another really good one. And then you're just going to season it with salt and pepper. But that acid will help to break it down and actually cook the scallop.
And I know a lot of people go, what do you mean cooking without heat? But it's actually degenerating the protein from a science point of view, so it's all okay to eat. And I just want to make sure. But I think that the big thing is that you need to get fresh ones, or could I use these with some frozen scallops? Because I live in Toronto, and to get scallops from Nova Scotia, I usually buy them at my fishmonger, but they're usually frozen, thawed, or frozen. Is it okay to use the frozen, thawed ones in this?
I wouldn't use frozen thawed per se. Frozen would work, like IQF scallops that have just been frozen once would work. Try to get fresh if it's at all possible. For anything that is a raw form of seafood and shellfish, the freshest the best. So yeah, just as long as you can find that, then you're good.
Good. I'm going to search for this. All right, now what are you adding now after the salt and pepper?
Yeah,
yes.
Some salt and pepper, and I actually have a little bit of sumac in there as well for some seasoning. It's also really bright and fresh and lemony in flavor. So I'm just mixing that around, and you'll actually start to see the scallop change color. So instead of being like an opalescent color, it'll start to go a little bit more white, and that's how you know as well that it's getting cooked by that acid.
How long does that take, Steph? Like 5 minutes, an hour, 3 days, you know?
Yeah, not very long. Like you could let it sit for a few minutes, up to like 10 minutes at most. But yeah, it'll start to happen very quickly. So that's a thing. So just kind of like letting that sit and marinate and hang out. I've got some sea buckthorn vinaigrette that I'm using that I don't know if you're watching the show or not, but I love sea buckthorn. So,
okay, so sea buckthorn, I use it as a cream on my face. I didn't know you could. So what did you do? Like puree them? Are they berries? I don't even know what they look like.
Yeah, they're like little orange berries. They're just like such a burst of flavor and just like sunshine in your mouth. Like it's just pure citrus love. So little orange berries, I've blended them up. They have a tiny seed in them that kind of looks like a flax seed, I would compare it to. But as long as you're straining that out through a fine mesh strainer and you're really pushing it, you can extract all of that juice and discard the seeds and the skins from the berries.
So is that real East Coast? You know, I mean, I don't know where they grow sea buckthorn berries anywhere else. So is that traditionally like a East Coaster thing?
It's something that over the last few years, a bunch of foragers have come to me with bags of them, and I've just bought as many as I possibly could because I love them. But they're all over Canada. I think, well, as far as like West Coast, I think has them, and East Coast. So around the shorelines, they tend to grow, and it's like thorny bushes that you have to pick them off of.
No, that's good. You know, but I've just heard of them as to be used for like skin products because they're very healing too. So excellent. We can use them for juice. Okay, so you got the juice, yes, and then what do you do? And then what else?
Yeah, just strained out that juice from it and then made a basic vinaigrette. So it's a little bit of avocado oil, the sea buckthorn juice, and I put some poppy seeds in it. So kind of a play on a lemon poppy seed vinaigrette, except for that citrus we're using the sea buckthorn. And the poppy seeds add a little texture.
Sorry, I didn't mean to butt in, but if I didn't have sea buckthorn berries, I can use, you said I can use just lemon then?
Yeah, lemon, lime, whatever you prefer. Orange juice would work as well.
Okay, great. All right, sorry. All right, continue on. I'm very excited.
So I'm just going to mix a few things in this bowl here. I've got some first of the season hackeri turnips, which I've just thinly sliced on a mandolin. I've got some really pretty radishes, some purple winter radish, and the fresh new French breakfast radish, and a little bit of green. So I'm going to like mix that all in together, some nice cucumber slices as well. That's going to be kind of a garnish. Again, just dressing simply with a little bit of lemon juice and a little bit of avocado oil, a touch of salt for seasoning, and just, you know, make sure that you're tasting your food. If you like it, then that's what you're going for. So everyone will be happy with that. I'm just going to grab a rag here and my bowl for plating. So just a bowl for plating, up to you. I'm going to put in that sea buckthorn poppy seed vinaigrette, just give it a shake, and kind of put that in the bottom of the bowl, a healthy amount so that everybody gets a bite. And then, what's that?
It's all in the wrist.
Yeah, it's something I kind of take for granted, and then people point it out, and it's like, oh yeah.
I'm a chef. Yeah, right.
I'm gonna strain off some of that liquid that the scallops have actually been sitting in, because we just don't want it to be too juicy in the bottom of the bowl. That sea buckthorn that's already in there, that's going to provide a lot of the juice. So yeah, just dressing that and putting it in. Mm-hmm. A little wipe. And the radish and hackeri mix, we're just going to kind of place those around, make it look good. It adds a little bit of spice from the radish, as well as some texture and crunch.
So you got some crunch and some zip and zang and tang and sweet. I love where you're going with this. You got the whole party in your mouth happening.
Yeah, hitting all of those marks. And I love adding flowers, edible flowers, to anything. I just do.
Hey, I'm with you, girlfriend. The first time I ever had them was at Sue Carver House in Vancouver Island, and I've been an edible flower girl ever since. So good. Okay.
Yeah, they're here.
Flowers, it's okay, right? You could put a little parsley on.
Yeah, it's spring. It's lots of color, and it provides nasturtiums I have here today, and that provides a little bit of spice as well. They tend to be a bit spicy. And I've popped some sorghum. So sorghum's a grain. I have it in this bowl. I don't know if you can see it or not.
I can.
And basically, you toast it just like you would popcorn, and it turns out to be just tiny little popcorn kernels. Mm-hmm. So again, just a little bit of texture, a little bit different than having maybe your typical cracker with a ceviche. But you could also just use regular popcorn, anything kind of like a little bit starchy that goes with it. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's it. So
yeah, can you just tip it a teeny bit? Oh, it's so pretty. Oh, that's gorgeous. Thank you. You know what? You demystified it. I think a lot of people have been afraid of making a ceviche. So thank you for walking us through it. And I'm going to try this as soon as I find fresh scallops from Nova Scotia. Love Canadian, all Canadian. Thanks so much. Thanks, Steph.
That was great. Now I want ceviche too. I'm just getting so hungry this show.
Oh, I know. But I think I was like, the sound for me, she was coming in and out. Mm-hmm. And so I hope I didn't sound insane, because I think we were like anyway, whatever. I hope people got to see it and hear it better than I could, but it looked amazing, and I would love to make that too. And
I think you have a storm on the way in Toronto, right? So I think it's just maybe playing with our internet airwaves here. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
You're getting so many beautiful freeze frames, Mair. It's lovely.
I'm going to ride off in the storm right now. Once again, my husband and I are sharing the computer, and he's got a course he's taking. So thanks, you guys. I had a wonderful time. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you guys next week.
Okay? Next week. All right. And now I'm going to bring on Winnipeg-based country singer David James. We're going to make a little cocktail and then hear a song, an acoustic version of a song of his. So I'll bring him on here. Does that work? There we go. Okay. Hey, David, how are you?
Hey, guys, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How are things in Winnipeg right now?
Things are pretty good. It's been beautiful weather the last couple of weeks. It's been nice and warm, and I've been able to get outside and golf and barbecue, which has been really nice. And in terms of kind of COVID and everything else, Manitoba, it seems it's been a little ahead of the curve. Mm-hmm. So things have been starting to open up for a couple of weeks now, and it's been pretty good. It's not all bad here in Winnipeg like most people think.
No, we were talking before we went live, and I'm a huge fan of Winnipeg, as most people know. And we were talking too about how sad we were that Segovia actually closed down a couple weeks ago permanently. But
yeah, one of my favorite restaurants in the country for sure. It's so sad. What the economic impact that this has had on so many local incredible restaurants and creators, and artisans and things like that. So that's been really unfortunate, but hopefully they're really wonderful people. Hopefully they decide to do something else in the city, because city just loves them so much. And I'm pretty sure that we both off their Instagram garage sale. We both bought things, which is hilarious. I got a couple of plates, and you were saying you got a table.
I bought the table that my friends and I almost always sit at when we go to Segovia. I saw it on there, and I'm like, this feels like the right impulse. I need this table. So now this table is just sitting in my friend's house in Winnipeg. When it's socially appropriate or politically appropriate for me to go to Winnipeg to get it, I will come pick it up.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's so great that you guys to take a little piece of it home with you. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I agree, and same for you. So with your music, you had a new EP, come out earlier this year, If I Were You. How's the music biz right now in terms of not being able to do any actual appearances aside from live streams?
Yeah, well, I will say for any aspiring or established musicians, releasing an album the day that a pandemic is declared isn't the best marketing strategy. It sort of monopolizes the news cycle, so to speak. But fans have been really great, about it, trying to support. I think music is one of those things. Music's just one of those things that people are really connecting with right now. It's really resonating with people and stuff. So, being able to impact people, maybe not in the same way. We were supposed to be on tour all spring, playing shows across the country, going to radio stations, visiting folks. Unfortunately, we can't do that. But it's been interesting to be able to connect with fans in other ways. And have them reach out and say, they really appreciate doing a live stream or just trying to shed a ray of light however you can, whether it's playing an acoustic song or just making a dish at home or a drink at home or something. It's
Absolutely.
just
because during the pandemic, you actually did launch your own food and drink account. You cook a lot on your social media in general, but now you have your own sort of offshoot, right?
Yeah, it's I do it so much, and yeah, I don't know, it's fun for me. I'm not a professional chef by any means. Bartending, I did a lot of mixology, competitions and things like that for about 7 or 8 years, and bartending is actually how I paid for my first couple of records. So it's one of those things that I kind of latched onto and just really enjoy doing.
Definitely. So I think you're going to whip up a drink for us before we hear you sing, right?
I'm gonna do it, yeah.
Okay,
so I've got a little setup here. Hold on, I might have to tilt my camera slightly.
Bit. Yeah,
but
right.
I want to make a whiskey sour because everybody, when they have a whiskey sour, turns into their favorite cocktail. It's the easiest thing to make in the world, especially at home. It's like 4 ingredients. You don't even need professional shakers. I'm gonna show you how to make this. Just shake it in a NutriBullet because
that's awesome.
You don't even need anything.
The thing that might stress people out, though, is the egg. So you just want to talk a bit about that and why it's safe to have an egg white in a cocktail?
Totally, yeah. So it's just the way that eggs are treated now. It's almost impossible to contract any diseases such as salmonella or anything. Studies have shown you're more likely to get it from broccoli than you are from an egg. So it's no longer a problem. People are comfortable eating meringues and stuff. It's the same thing, right? We're just using the egg white. But it's so important for the drink because it just creates this amazing texture, as you probably know.
Yes.
So what we are going to do is we're always going to start with the egg because if we get a little yolk or a little shell, we can just dump this out and we can start all over. We're not wasting anything. So
what do you do with the egg yolks? Like, what if you make six whiskey sours? What are you doing with the yolks after?
You can save them. You can make like an egg yolk omelet. I don't know. You can also like preserve egg yolks, which I've actually done in the past, and then you have preserved egg yolks you can put like on a steak or a salad or something. So that's pretty cool too. So I'm basically, I goofed it. So we're just going to start over.
This is just for the sake of the demo, right? So people can see mistakes.
Yeah, this is why we do this. All right, so I'm going to go into my Boston shaker now. But you can shake this in the NutriBullet. It's fine. So I'm just going to kind of rock the yolk back and forth. There we go.
Awesome.
Egg whites in there. Perfect. So now I've got just the easiest ingredients in the world. I've got the juice from 1 lemon. If you don't have fresh lemon, maybe you're not trying to go out to the store super often, use pasteurized because there's so much the syrup and stuff in the drink, you're not going to notice a difference. So I'm going to go in with an ounce of lemon juice, an ounce of simple syrup, and they call it simple syrup because it is so simple. You just blend up equal parts sugar and water, 20, 30 seconds, and you have it. If you want a flavored syrup, instead of water, use fruit juice, use apple juice if you want an apple syrup.
Or put in like fresh herbs or something to sort of infuse, like mint, basil.
Exactly. Even coconut milk, and you can make a coconut syrup. It's the easiest thing. You just blend up equal parts sugar and then whatever the base is. So simple syrup is just water. So I'm going to go in with an ounce of that. And then 2 ounces or 2.5 ounces. I'm doing 2.5 because let's be honest. Yeah. It's
also Thursday. I'm going to give you a bit more screen room here to showcase this too. So there you go.
Okay. So I've got my drink here. I'm just going to do a quick shake. If I was doing it in the NutriBullet does, same thing. Just going to shake it up for about 10, 15 seconds. You want to shake it really hard because you want that egg white to just froth up and froth up your drink because that's the texture you're going for.
Right.
So you really need to shake this pretty well. Perfect. And there we go. So we've got our drink. 2 options. You can choose if you want to strain it with ice or not. It doesn't really matter. It just depends what your personal preference is. I'm going to go with ice because why not? So it just comes out super silky and creamy.
That looks great.
Just see it on there. And then if you have bitters at home, this is like $8 DLC. It's great. It's aromatic. It's got notes of, cinnamon and caramel. If you don't have any bitters and you want to top it off with something else, an herb is a great choice. Or vanilla, cinnamon, I've even seen. So we're just going to hit it with 1 or 2 dashes. If you have a cocktail cherry, it's great. But there you go. It's the easiest whiskey sour to ever make in your entire life. It takes 30 seconds.
I might have one after this show too. We'll see.
I'll probably have 3 or 4.
I love it. Cool. Well, that looks great. You can enjoy that after. And now you're gonna play your current single on radio, right? So we're gonna play for us.
I am. Yeah. So I just released a song. It's called "If I Were You," and this one was a co-write actually with a couple of amazing artists down in the States, Florida Georgia Line, and an artist named Hardy. So this is
no big deal. No
one
big deal.
Sorry.
No big deal. Florida Georgia.
This is one I was really looking forward to playing on tour, but we're not touring right now, so you're going to have to do for now.
I'm happy to hear it. All right, I'll let you take it away here.
If I was a billionaire like Bill Gates, I'd be flying around in one of my planes, parachute over the ocean, just to show you the splash it made. If I was a Hollywood actor, you were the one I was chasing after. Fast forward to the love scene faster, wish that were the case, but it ain't. If I were you, I'd say goodbye to that dude. No, he don't know what he's got, so he's got nothing to lose. Somehow he don't even kiss you, bet he won't even miss you. It's so easy to see, I'd leave him for me, girl, if I were you. If his house was mine, I'd be cooking you breakfast. Girl, on your birthday, I'd buy you a necklace, ride you around in my truck instead of that city boy Lexus. I'd hate to be the one to cause a breakup, yep, but I think you'd be happier to wake up next to me. If I were you, I'd say goodbye to that dude. No, he don't know what he's got, so he's got nothing to lose. Somehow he don't even kiss you, bet he won't even miss you. It's so easy to see, I'd leave him for me, girl, if I were you. Yeah, if I were you. He don't even know your favorite song came on, and all you wanna do is dance. I'd have had you out there an hour ago, baby, if I had the chance. If I were you, say goodbye to that dude. No, he don't know what he's got, so he's got nothing to lose. Somehow he don't even kiss you, bet he won't even miss you. It's so easy to see, I'd leave him for me, girl, if I were you. Girl, if I were you.
Yes, that was awesome. Great. David James, everybody. Thank you so much for being on the show, making a cocktail and singing to you. That was a ton of fun.
Oh my gosh, thank you guys so much. Make sure you have a couple cocktails for me this weekend.
Yeah, we definitely will. It's funny, we actually had Katie. We had Katie Rocks from Nice Horse on last week making cocktails. Maybe that's our new theme, is having talented musicians making drinks with us too. It's good.
Thirsty Thursdays.
Yes, yeah, there we go. The new hashtag.
Right, take care, guys.
All right, awesome. Okay, and thanks everyone for watching another episode of Eat North Variety Pack. Carmen Cheng, gracious co-host as always, and we'll see you all next week.
See you.
Eat North Variety Pack. Food and friends with Canada's best. From east to west, there and back. Eat North Variety Pack. 'Cause variety's the spice of life.